You're standing in line, scrolling your phone, half awake when the barista calls your name and hands over a cup dripping with whipped cream and caramel drizzle. It smells like comfort, tastes like reward. But what if that single sip pushes your blood sugar off a cliff, bathes your organs in artificial dyes, and leaks microplastics straight into your bloodstream? Tonight, we're counting down 7 Starbucks favorites that nutritionists whisper about and insiders flat out fear. Stay to the end, because number 1 hides a secret even the barista's joke about off camera. It looks Instagram innocent, a pastel swirl of coconut milk, acai, and freeze-dried strawberries. The pink drink built a cult following so strong it vaulted from the secret menu to permanent status. But peel back the blush veneer, and you'll find a biochemical Trojan horse. First, sugar. A grande clocks 25 grams, that's 6 teaspoons before toppings. The American Heart Association pegs daily added. Sugar limits at 24 grams for women, 36 for men. 1 cup, and you're tapped out. Worse, most syrup sweetness hides behind white grape juice concentrate, an industrial sweetener devoid of the fiber that normally tempers fructose in real fruit. Then come the fake colors. Starbucks lists fruit juice for color, yet independent mass spec tests by a 2023 consumer lab found traces of Allure Red AC, that's Red 40, linked to hyperactivity in kids. Likely cross-contamination in syrup manufacturing, but the label still reads, "No artificial colors, marketing sleight of hand." Coconut milk feels virtuous until you discover Starbucks fortifies it with guar gum and gellan to mimic dairy thickness. Guar is fine, but gellan can curdle gut flora, sparking bloating and, in sensitive cases, laxative effects. Baristas joke about pink drink belly on Reddit thread scroll, if you dare. Supply chain? Strawberries arrive freeze-dried from facilities in Shanxi, China, where FDA inspectors cited pesticide overspray in 2022. The company switched lots, yet paperwork shows no new third-party audits. So you're biting into fruit grown under standards Starbucks won't reveal. Hidden kicker: each clear plastic cup sheds up to 10 million microplastic particles when exposed to acidic liquids. The acai base measures a pH of 3.4, acidic enough to accelerate leaching. A 2022 study in environmental pollution documented polypropylene fragments from coffee cups inside human lung tissue. Pretty has consequences. Still think the pink drink is a harmless splash of summer? It's a sugar spike, dye shuffle, pesticide gamble, and microplastic infusion rolled into one pastel package. Ready for a healthier green option? Think again. Number 6 brews a radioactive green lie. Matcha carries Zen-level wellness branding. Antioxidants, calm focus, metabolism boosts. Starbucks beats that drum loud, but their matcha latte whispers a darker tune. Start with composition. Starbucks matcha isn't ceremonial grade. It's 57% cane sugar, 43% powdered tea. That alone loads a grande with 32 grams added sugar, topping the pink drink by 7 teaspoons. Radiant color comes next. True matcha oxidizes to olive drab in minutes. Starbucks stays neon thanks to E133, brilliant blue blended with curcumin. Individually legal. Together, they produce a vivid emerald, but brilliant blue crosses the blood-brain barrier in mice, triggering neuroinflammatory markers. The FDA deems it safe at low doses. Yet daily latte fiends mainline the dye morning after morning. Caffeine? At 80 milligrams per scoop and 2 scoops per venti, that's 160 milligrams more than a Red Bull. Pair that with sugar and you've built a metabolic roller coaster. Insulin surge, adrenal spike, afternoon crash. Let's talk radiation. Yes, radiation. After Fukushima, Japanese tea exports faced strict cesium-137 screening. Starbucks sources global blend matcha, mixing Japanese and Chinese leaves. Chinese regions near abandoned uranium mines show soil readings up to 5 times higher than background. A 2021 Swiss survey detected measurable cesium in 3 of 9 matcha samples at European cafes. Limits are low, but cumulative radionuclide intake is unstudied territory. Barista prep turns health hopes to sludge. Powder scoops plop into pitchers of 2% milk. Clumps cling to walls, breeding bacteria, if not scrubbed hourly. Employees admit they top up with new milk rather than deep clean pitchers on rush days. Internal hygiene bulletins warn, biofilm wrist scrub every 4 hours. Enforcement? Patchy. So your mindful moment? Think sugar saturation, Nebraska on dye, radiation footnote, and bacterial slosh. Next up, number 5 promises classic espresso sophistication while quietly ambushing your arteries. It sounds Italian, elegant, grown up. One silky pull of espresso marked over vanilla-sweetened milk, finished with caramel crosshatch. Simple, until you measure what lurks in that latticed drizzle. A grande caramel macchiato contains 33 grams sugar, but the real villain hides in the caramel sauce. Potassium sorbate plus butter, flavored diacetyl. Diacetyl is infamous for popcorn lung, severe bronchiolitis recorded in factory workers inhaling the vapors. Starbucks insists consumer exposure is negligible, yet research in occupational medicine notes that steam from flavored coffee beverages does carry diacetyl. Baristas face levels 15 times higher than the public. Customers inhale the plume in smaller bursts, but repeat visits add up. Sodium, 150 milligrams, doesn't shock, but Starbucks pumps solution-preserved milk to boost foaming. The milk's sodium caseinate is partly hydrolyzed, releasing free glutamic acidius, like MSG. Sensitive patrons report headache, coffee sweats, after macchiatos. Thermal stress compounds hazards. Dark caramel drips at 320 Fahrenheit well into the acrolein zone, a respiratory irritant stronger than formaldehyde. The sauce lands on 145 Fahrenheit milk, flashing vapor directly into nostrils. OSHA has no limit for acrolein in restaurants. Studies peg chronic exposure to decreased lung capacity. Then there's environmental cost. Vanilla syrup uses synthetic vanillin derived from lignin in paper mills, often processed with sodium hypochlorite bleach. Trace chlorinated organics linger, undetectable to taste buds, but measurable on chromatographs. Starbucks buys 14 million gallons of flavored syrup a year. That's a small chlorine economy swirling in billions of cups. Finally, plastic lids. Heat plus fat plus low-grade polypropylene forms oleamide, a migration chemical disrupting sleep cycles by mimicking endogenous fatty acids. Tests on coffee with lids versus without saw oleamide levels triple macchiatos as hotter temps amplify leaching. So each sip of sophistication is really diacetyl steam, bleached vanillin, acrolein mist, and oleamide leachol laced with an espresso buzz. Craving cozy spices instead? Hold tight, number 4's chai love story ends in gut punch betrayal. Chai means tea. Latte means milk. Together they conjure yoga mats and Himalayan dawns. Starbucks fronts paper cups adorned with cinnamon swirls, but the mix inside is more chemistry lab than mountain monastery. Ingredient 1. Chai concentratia, viscous brew of black tea, honey, and a corn syrup-based sweetener. Grande tally, 42 grams sugarton teaspoons, outranking a can of Coke. That load slams your pancreas, then leaves you lightheaded as insulin sweeps the spike. Spice notes come from natural flavors, hiding synthetic, cinnamic aldehyde, and piperonal, vanilla substitute. Piperonal once served as a precursor in MDMA synthesis. Here it tweaks aroma receptors. Safe? The EU caps daily intake to 2 mg/kg body weight. One grande chai sits near that for a 60 kg adult. Tannins in black tea bind iron, risking deficiency in heavy drinkers yet. Starbucks steeps concentrate so strong it stains. Stainless pitchers tan. Employees soak pitchers nightly in caustic sodium percarbonate to lift stains. Leftover residue plus hot milk equals hydrogen peroxide fizz in your next pour. Baristas hurry, residue stays. Microbiology enters next. Chai concentrate lives unrefrigerated until opening, but open jugs linger on counters far past the 4-hour safety window. Sticky syrup lines necks. Perfect for Saccharomyces cerevisiae var. Boulardia, yeast probiotic. In small doses, but an opportunistic pathogen in immunocompromised people. Hospital case reports cite chai lattes as suspect in ICU fungal infections. Calories? Grande hits 240 even before whipped cream. But you order soy to be healthy. Except Starbucks soy beverage carries carrageenan, linked to intestinal inflammation in primates. Swap to almond? Contains only 2% almonds, bulked with locust bean guma known laxative. Finally, caffeine. Not listed on menu, but double-steeped chai packs, 95 megekwal to an espresso. Pair that with sugar, and cortisol spikes harder than Monday traffic. So that mindful mug holds corn-sweetened syrup, synthetic spices, yeast fallout, and chemical soakback. Next, number 3. Showers you in white chocolate bliss while pummeling your cardiovascular system. White chocolate feels innocent, no caffeine, darkness, just creamy luxury. Starbucks weaponizes that illusion into a sugar and fat blitzkrieg. 1 grande white chocolate mocha, 430 calories, 53 grams sugar, 18 grams fat. That sugar equals 13 Oreos crushed into a single cup. But quantity is only the first alarm. White mocha sauce relies on palm kernel oil hydrogenated for spreadability. Hydrogenation forms trans, fats officially banned, but tiny allowances remain under 0.5 g per serving. Multiply by global sales, Starbucks moves 4.5 million white mochas daily worldwide. A micro-trans fat tsunami. Emulsifiers keep sauce homogeneous. Polysorbate 60 and mono, and diglycerides. Polysorbate scrambles gut mucosal layers, letting inflammatory bacteria slip into bloodstream. Animal studies link chronic intake to metabolic syndrome. Coffee drinkers show elevated gut permeability markers. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. Caffeine hits 150 milligrams. 2 espresso shots. Caffeine amplifies sugar's dopamine rush, wiring cravings. Add whipped cream and you ingest carrageenan again, this time labeled stabilizer. A rat study in nutrition and cancer saw carrageenan spur colonic tumors within 3 months at human equivalent doses. Temperature synergy worsens the brew. Hot espresso poured onto white mocha sauce hits 195 degrees Fahrenheit, triggering Maillard reaction hotspots that create acrylamide. Starbucks publishes lower acrylamide numbers than drip coffee, but third-party labs caught levels 40% higher in sugary mochasta syrup acts as fuel. Finally, think supply chain ethics. Cocoa butter shortage leads Starbucks to cut sauce with PGP raw cheaper emulsifier derived from castor oil processed with hydrochloric acid. The Congo's child labor cocoa trade still shadows white chalk sourcing. Starbucks issues progress reports but omits third-party audits. So each velvety sip glides down as trans fat lace, gut-ripping emulsifiers, California Enser flag carrageenan, and ethical blur. If seasonal nostalgia calls louder, number TWO ladles it upsteaming, spicy, and stealthily dangerous. Leaves change, scarves emerge, and Starbucks unleashes the PSL pumpkin spice latte. Fans set countdown clocks, but behind that cinnamon puff lurks a diabetic's nightmare laced with industrial solvents. Numbers first. 50 grams sugar in a grande with whip. That's 12 teaspoons more than a can of Mountain Dew. Hidden in those grams. High fructose corn syrup 55. Yes, Starbucks pledged to kill HFCS in 2016, but new labeling lists sugar without spec. Independent HPLC tests in 2023 spotted HFCS markers in 3 of 6 sampled PSL syrups. Color comes from Annatto E160B, largely safe, except large intakes spark allergy like histamine spikes. Combined with heat and milk proteins, annatto can precipitate hapten complexes, causing skin flushing and itching reported by PSL aficionados each fall. Flavor? Pumpkin puree equals only 10% of sauce volume. The rest, Propylene glycol carrier for artificial flavors. Propylene glycol resides in aircraft de-icer. FDA calls it safe under 50 G daily. Venti PSL uses nearly 2 G tiny, unless you nurse 1 daily for 90-day season. Spices introduce another hazard: mycotoxins. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves originate from humid equatorial farms. Poor drying spurs, mold, and ochratoxin A formation. A 2021 food control survey flagged ochratoxin in 30% of imported cinnamon. Boiling milk won't kill the toxin. It's heat. Stable. Caffeine sits at 150 milligrams. Sugar plus caffeine synergy skyrockets, dopamine then plummets, beckoning repeat visits. That's how PSL broke sales records neuromarketing in a cup. Environmental side. PSL's cult pushes limited edition merch, tumblers, and triple-lined cups with copper pigment. Test stubs show copper leach into hot drinks at 0.3 ppm, approaching WHO limit for water. Copper overload flares liver stress. The finale? Whipped cream dusted with pumpkin spice topping containing sulfiting agents. Sulfites trigger asthma in 5% of sufferers. Starbucks prints no allergen notice. So your cozy sweater season brew conceals HFCS sugar load, antifreeze carrier, Missouri LD-borne mycotoxins, and copper fallout. Think we've peaked? The worst offender sits at number 1, sugar skyscraper crowned in caramel shard. Order a venti caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino, and you've summoned 570 calories, 85 grams sugar, 22 grams fatty caloric wallop of an entire quarter-pounder meal blended into semi-liquid dessert. But wait, there's more. Base formula: coffee, milk, ice, and frappuccino syrup loaded with xanthan gum, cellulose gum, and fruit pectin thickening trifecta that slows gastric emptying, prolonging sugar absorption so your blood glucose plateaus high, longer. Endocrinologists call this double burden on insulin. Next layer: dark caramel sauce. Unlike macchiato caramel, this sauce simmers to 350 Fahrenheit, creating 4-methylimidazole, 4-MeI, the controversial carcinogen behind cola lawsuits. California's Prop 65 threshold is 29 mg/day. Analysis by a 2022 watchdog found 31 mg in a single venti CRC frap. Blend spins in a pitcher lined with bisphenol S plastic blades. BPA-free branding hides BPS, an endocrine disruptor just as potent. Heat from friction hits 140 Fahrenheit inside the pitcher, accelerating leach. University of Michigan study saw urinary BPS peak within 2 hours of frappuccino consumption. Now the crunch. Buttery toffee bits containing partially hydrogenated palm kernel oil imported from plantations tied to deforestation of Sumatran orangutan habitat. Starbucks touts RSPO membership, but flagged suppliers re-enter supply by switching tax IDs. Whipped cream? Same carrageenan issue, plus nitrous oxide propellant forms nitroso compounds if cream warms above 41 Fahrenheit. Baristas often leave canisters unrefrigerated between rushes. Caffeine sits deceptively at 95 mg coffee base diluted by ice. Low caffeine plus high sugar yields post-drink fatigue, pushing customers to order another midday. Behavioral economists label this the Frappuccino loop. Health aftermath. One CRC frap shoots triglycerides skyward for 4 hours, oxidizing LDL, stiffening arterial walls. Endocrine docs dub such drinks liquid danger zones. Nurses at a 2023 diabetes clinic traced teen patient glucose spikes to daily CRC runs. So that Instagram-worthy frap is really 4-MeI cancer cloud, endocrine warping BPS, rainforest blood, and fat-fueled metabolic cheo stopped with caramel smiley drizzle. 7 drinks, 1 bitter truth. Starbucks stirs sugar, chemicals, and hidden toxins into sips we idolize as lifestyle treats. From neon matcha dyes to caramel carcinogens, every treat-yourself moment exacts a debt on your heart, liver, and lungs. If this breakdown jolted you, smash like, share with every caffeine addict you know, and subscribe because next episode we expose the grocery aisle you stroll each week. Remember, beverages should refresh you, not distress you. Until then, order wisely, drink mindfully, and stay thirsty for the truth.